I took an ice bath every single day for 100 days and it was not what I expected.
Cold plunging.
Cold exposure.
Ice baths.
Ice bath.
Ice bath.
Cold exposure.
Cold plunges. The ice man.
Seneca said we suffer more often in imagination than we do in reality, and after doing ice baths for 100 days, I don't think anything could be more true. So answer me this, do you know what the biggest problem in society is today? When you look around at the average person, what do you see? You see people who embrace modern living and cheap dopamine. Nobody is truly challenged. Most people, including myself, never have to truly worry about anything like going hungry. We can just sit and scroll TikTok all day. You have a right to put yourself through discomfort and challenge yourself so that you can grow, because you can't grow unless you push yourself to your edge. And people are so afraid of challenge that they're afraid of cold water, which probably explains why whenever I tell somebody I do ice baths, they look at me as if I've got 4 heads. And look, I'm not saying I look forward to doing ice baths, although there is part of me that does. There is always a few seconds right before I get in where I'm standing beside the ice bath in my swimming shorts and the cold air is trying to pierce my skin and I think, fuck, I do not want to do this. And look, that's where an element of self-mastery comes into play. Can you control your mind enough to do what your inner bitch tells you not to do? Of course, I didn't just jump into cold water for 3 minutes. I started with taking showers, and for the last 30 seconds of my showers, they were cold. And over a week or two, I built up to my whole shower being cold, and then that's when I decided to face the dreaded ice bath that I was putting off because I was being a little bitch. So I started my ice baths at 90 seconds and they were probably the longest 90 seconds of my life. And each week I increased the time I spent in the ice bath by 30 seconds until I got to 3 minutes, which is where I'm at now and where I'm going to stay at. Now, temperature wise, I live in Northern Ireland, so it's cold and wet all the time. I just leave the water outside and it sits between 2 and 8 degrees Celsius, which is 35 and 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So the water's pretty damn cold now. It has been as low as -2 Celsius, which is 28 Fahrenheit. It was fucking cold. That was probably the coldest I've ever been in my life, but it was fun and I felt good after I'd done it. Now, by this point, you're probably wondering, why the fuck is this mad bastard doing this? Why is he doing ice baths every single day? Don't worry, I ask myself the exact same question. But one of the main things that I've realized in 100 days of doing ice baths is that the hardest part is getting in. The hardest part is starting. It's that fight with the inner bitch to expose yourself to the cold water. I always like to think of it as, if you can't put yourself through 3 minutes of discomfort, what can you do? You are capable of so much more than you think, and doing an ice bath is the easiest way to prove that to yourself. Now, I noticed 3 pretty much immediate and prolonged benefits of cold exposure that I didn't expect. The first one is that you feel like a beast. There's no other way to put this. Whenever you get out of that cold water, you feel amazing. Now, this is likely due to the dopamine and adrenaline increases you get, but I get out of the ice bath and I think I could box Mike Tyson, which, you know, obviously I couldn't, but the ice bath makes you think you could. The second benefit is improved focus and clarity. Again, this is largely due to the dopamine and adrenaline increases you get, but I get out and I feel clear-minded, I feel focused, and this is carried over into every work block I do throughout my day. And the third benefit is better ideas. You see, I create content on Instagram and Twitter primarily, and then also here on YouTube. And good content is pretty much a combination of 2 things. So you have good writing and good ideas. And to have good ideas, you again have 2 options. So you consume good content from books, podcasts, YouTube videos, or you put yourself through mental and physical challenge like ice baths, working out, or building a business. And I've noticed a massive improvement in the quality of ideas that I'm getting, and therefore the quality of content I produce and the transfer over to my business. Now, this next thing that I'm going to say might sound absolutely fucking crazy if you've never taken an ice bath, but ice baths have changed my life. I will be doing an ice bath for the rest of my life, and there's 2 main reasons I will keep these as a staple habit in my life. The first reason is that I haven't had a habit that has impacted me this way since I started lifting weights. So I started training in the gym about 6 years ago, won a British weightlifting championship and a few other things, but the gym was the gateway to this whole self-improvement and self-mastery world that I'm now obsessed with and has changed my life completely. I haven't had a habit that has impacted me this much since I started the gym until I did daily ice baths. The second reason is that taking an ice bath is an act of self-mastery. There's not a single time where I'm standing beside that ice bath and don't think, Ross, you don't need to do this, you did this yesterday, you can do it tomorrow, do it later, and all these excuses start coming up from my inner bitch. Yet every single time I stand beside that ice bath, I do it. And for something as simple as sitting in cold water, it could not be a bigger act of self-mastery, where you tell your inner bitch where to go and you take control of your mind. Now, do you need to do ice baths to become rich, successful, achieve your goals or whatever? No, of course you don't. But should you do ice baths? I think so. You should. They changed my life. I think they'll change yours. So, my friends, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you are going to start ice baths or if you've been doing them and how you have found them. I highly recommend them. And as always, all the links to my mastery operating system, newsletters, free courses, etc., are in the description below. So go check them out if you're interested, and I will see you in the next video.